Today, we begin a second series of 4 inputs. This time, we are reflecting on the apostolic exhortation of Pope Francis on marriage and family, namely, Amoris Laetitia, the joy of marriage. Sometimes there are people who are skeptical about joy in marriage. Once a new parish priest, when visiting the cemetery of his new parish, found a middle-aged man weeping at a tomb. And he found him again more than once, weeping at the same tomb. So he went and asked him, "Friend, I noticed that you come to this tomb and you weep here. I have seen this so often. Who is buried here? Your mother? No father. Your father? No father. Your child? No father. Then why do you come here and weep so much?" "What to tell you, Father? Here is buried the first husband of my wife. And I am wondering why he died so soon. And yet, apart from this, I hope, rare incident, many couples are happy. And therefore, Pope Francis wishes to reflect on the joy of marriage and family and also share his thoughts so that couples, young and not so young, may deepen their married life, their married love. The exhortation of Francis is based on the sharing among the bishops during 2 synods, one in 2014, the other in 2015. The 2 synods on the family. Normally, when a synod ends, the bishops hand over to the Pope all the reports of their synod. So the Pope knows what the bishops said. And from all that rich sharing, he prepares a document. So this document, though it comes from the Pope, is a synodal document. It also reflects the findings and experiences of the bishops. I told you earlier that Pope Francis is very fond of the word joy. That is because he himself is a joyful person and he wants to share this joy with others, and he invites Christians from all over the world to be messengers of joy. And so he has 4 documents that carry the word joy in their title. First, Evangelii Gaudium, the joy of the gospel, in 2013. Then Amoris Laetitia, 2016, the joy of love, marriage and family. Third, Gaudete et exultate, rejoice and be glad, an apostolic exhortation on Christian holiness in 2018. And the same year, this year, the fourth document, which is an apostolic constitution, a more technical document for people engaged in higher education within the church, Veritatis Gaudium, the joy of truth. Now, why is it that the Pope sees joy as an integral part of married life? In fact, the word joy comes 44 times in this document. Joys in plural 7 times, joyful 4 times, and enjoy 17 times. So you see that the whole document is not only permeated with the joy of Pope Francis, but the word joy also shapes the document as it goes along. It is, if you like, the thread that holds together the beads that make the document. We can understand the joy of which Francis speaks by going back to the first chapters of Genesis. After God creates Eve and takes her to Adam, Adam is happy. Here at last is the flesh of my flesh, the bone of my bone. This is the joy that Adam experienced. And so the Pope begins by saying, the joy of love experienced by families is also the joy of the church. For the simple reason that the family is the first church. The family is fully the church of Jesus. The church of Jesus has one and one mark: love. By this, people will know you are my disciples if you love one another. And so the family united by love is the church. And hence it is very true to say the joy of the family is the joy of the church. Now, why is marriage a source of joy? I can think of 3 reasons or 3 aspects of married life. First, there is the biological reason. Namely, marriage perpetuates the human family. But then, why is this a source of joy? Animals also die, but they are lucky. They are fortunate. Animals don't know they will die. They are not worried about death. They don't anticipate death. They just live. But you and I know we will die. The house I have built after so much hard work will not be mine forever. I will die. My friends, I will lose them. Death will separate us. All the money that I have in the bank will not come with me. In Hindi, there is a saying, कफन के जेब नहीं होते. The shroud that you put on my body before closing the coffin, that cloth, that piece of cloth has no pockets. And even if you put all the money in the family in a bag and put it in the coffin, that will be of no use. It will not help. So death puts an end to all our striving, to all our work, all our plans. Death separates us from our loved ones. So there are two ways of dealing with this. First, the way of biology. Through marriage, the husband and the wife work together to perpetuate the human family. I know I will die. I know my wife will die. But our children will live. And in our children, we too will live. So in that sense, the child is the future of the wife and the husband. On the deeper level, the spiritual level, we have the mystery of Jesus' resurrection. Like Jesus, even though we will die, that will not be the end. We will live with God. But that is a mystery of faith, more difficult. But biology, procreation, the birth of a child is our normal experience. For this reason, marriage is the normal vocation of all humans. All humans are called by God to be father and mother. The very first blessing God gives to us, increase and multiply. This is the first blessing God gave us. The second reason why marriage is a source of joy is the emotional side. Animals procreate, they mate, they have offspring. But there is no companionship. I must say there are some animals and some birds that mate with the same partner regularly, every year. They stick to their partner. So in that sense, there is companionship. But many animals, birds, etc., they mate and they part. Humans have a special faculty, namely the faculty of friendship. We can not only have children biologically, we can not only have brothers and sisters biologically, but we can have many friends, many brothers and sisters who are not born to our parents and who may be much more close to us than our blood sisters and our brothers, more close to us than our own family members, our friends. So friendship brings out another aspect of humans, namely humans can love. Animals mate because they are drawn by instinct. And once that instinctive attraction is over, once the female is no longer in her season, the male will forget. He may not even notice her. But with humans, we are drawn not only to persons of the complementary sex, we are drawn to many people. And our attraction is not physical, it is not sexual, it is something different. For example, I may be drawn to a child who has no mother, no father. I may be drawn to an old person, an old parent, or old parents who have been abandoned by their children. Of course, their children send them plenty of money wherever they are. But these two people are abandoned. They feel left alone. and a big house, I can feel drawn to them. I can share their pain. I can share their loneliness. And this is the special capacity we humans have, the capacity for friendship. And so, the husband and wife are not simply biological partners. That is, in a way, a second function. In fact, the word in English, procreation, is in a way significant. Humans are creative. The artist is creative. The poet is creative. And the artist will show you, this is my creation. The word pro means a substitute. For example, we have the pro-chancellor. The chancellor is the real chancellor of a university. But sometimes in his absence, there is a pro-chancellor, one who acts on his behalf. So in a sense, the word procreation is in a way lower than the word creation. Creation is the activity of the mind and the heart. Procreation, since it is something we share with animals, it is an activity primarily of our body. So in that sense, friendship is the higher expression of our human potential. And couples can be the best friends. So it is not simply a bodily intimacy, a bodily attraction, they become friends. There was a famous French couple, Jacques Maritain and Raisa Maritain. And they wrote together the story of their life. The title was, We Have Been Friends Together. Beautiful. I wish every couple could say that. We are friends together. We have been, we are, and with God's grace, we hope to continue to be as friends. We have been friends together. And it is this dimension of God. God is a community of friendship. And that is why God is joy. Friendship brings you joy. And the couple is joyful if they experience their marriage as a friendship. Third, okay, you are my friend, I am your friend. But I know, and you know, that whether we like it or not, one day our friendship will end. Either you will die or I will die. And even young people who get married in the middle of the great joy they are experiencing, they are reminded of death. We shall remain together till death do us part. So the joy of marriage is in a way diminished by the presence of death. And that is true of the best friendship on earth. Humans can go beyond death. That is what makes us humans. Humans are constantly going beyond, constantly transgressing the boundaries, constantly crossing the borders. Humans cannot be confined to any limited space. In that sense, in some way, humans are like God Himself. And this should not surprise us, because we are made in God's image and likeness. And so there is a third dimension in our life, what we could call the depth dimension, the spiritual dimension. You remember that beautiful psalm, deep calls to deep. Deep calls to deep. Now, how do husband and wife help each other to discover this third dimension of being human, the depth dimension? By helping each other to see that whatever is beautiful, whatever is the source of joy, beautiful as it is, good as it is, will come to an end. And therefore, not to get over attached. Though I am your friend, I am not possessive. Though you are my wife, I am not possessive. You have your life. You have to live your life. I have to live my life. That is the depth dimension. My wife is much more than I am, and I am much more than my wife. I have within me the capacity to receive much more than my wife can give me. And my wife has the capacity to receive much more than I can give her. That is the depth dimension. And therefore, husband and wife, deep as their love may be, have to accept that there is a deeper love. There is a greater possibility. And that together we got to journey into that greater possibility, experience that greater love, and thereby become deep. And dear friends, the deeper we become, the more helpful we can be to others. We can help our children to become deep. We can take our friends to depths we don't imagine. Now, this possibility that we are moving ahead, crossing boundaries, transgressing broad borders, means that we leave behind the past. The past is beautiful, but sometimes we hold on to the past without realizing that the past is past. Once a couple, few years after their marriage, were realizing that something is wrong with their marriage. So one day they began to think about it together. And the wife told the husband, "You seem to become more irritable now. Before you got married, you are so sweet. Now you are irritable. What has happened to you?" Then the husband smiles and says, "Darling, maybe nothing has happened to me, but I realize that before we got married, you were dear. You were dear. But now you have become costly, and at times very costly. You don't understand that my salary is limited, but your expectations are much more. For you, sometimes I feel what you can buy in the market has become more important than me. You were dear then, now you are costly." Now the husband, okay, that is true, but then getting angry may not help. The husband must perhaps gently share with the wife the problems he is facing. Let me share with you one experience. One evening, a couple come and meet me. They are a couple in their middle 40s or early 40s. Their son has been admitted to an engineering college, totally on merit. Brilliant boy. And now he wants to buy a Royal Enfield. So he tells his father, I want a Royal Enfield. So the father and mother come and meet me. Father, our son wants a Royal Enfield. But doesn't he have a scooter? Is the scooter gone bad? No, father, the scooter is in perfect order. Then why does he want a Royal Enfield? Father, all the companions of our son, they come to the college on Royal Enfield and other heavy vehicles. Some even come in four-wheelers. And when they see our son coming on this scooter, they all giggle and say, look, look, uncle is coming. Look, look, uncle is coming. Namely, an old man is coming. Then I tell them, tomorrow evening, keep all your bank documents ready. And when your son comes home, show him your passbook, your fixed deposit receipts, and if you have mutual funds, whatever it is, all that you put before him. And then ask him, son, this is where we are. You want a Royal Enfield? The boy looks at all the documents. He says, no, no, no. I can manage with my scooter. Two things. First, from childhood, the boy was happy in the family. A very loving couple. Second, the parents did not bluntly say no to him. They brought him into a dialogue. They trusted him. They could have said no, but they trusted him. They felt that if our son knows our reality, he will change his mind. And that is what happened. So, when the joy begins to become less in the family, then it is time that they cut down the activity, sit quietly, and begin to share. What is happening to our family? Why is our joy becoming less? Dialogue within the family is essential to keep the joy of the family. Let me end up by giving you another experience. One morning, a journalist was walking in a park, doing his constitutional walk. And he approached an elderly couple walking rather slow. And as he came near, he overheard their conversation. The woman was calling the husband darling. The man was calling the wife honey. And it went on, darling, honey, darling. So he became slow and listened to their conversation. And he was smiling with joy. Then after some time, he saw a bench. He overtook the family and approached the bench and said, Uncle, Auntie, could I talk to you for some time? Sure. So he told them how he overheard their conversation, how he was so happy to hear them call each other darling, honey. And so he wanted to know something about them. And he asked them some simple questions. And he was taking notes. And then he said, now, could you please tell me your name? So the woman said, I'm Honey. And the man said, I'm Darling. No, I mean your real names. Real names? What are your real names? The names you had before you got married. Both of them said together, sorry, we have forgotten our real names. The names we had before you got married. Now, she is my honey and I am her darling. So often we carry the past and we want the past to be here with us today. our happiness is not in the past. Our happiness is being here and moving ahead together.